Alright, finally decided to sit down and make a video about my arcade stick, Pandora 6S I believe is what it's called. I actually bought this originally back in April of this year, April of 2019, so about 8 months ago. Played with it a few times, not an awful lot, but my brother and I have played on it, a couple of my kids have, my wife and I. We played it a few times, but I thought what I would do is just make a video um, talking a little bit about the stick itself, but also just showing a bunch of the games that are on it. And what ended up happening, actually, I just decided as I was going through that I would show every page of games. I was hoping it would be big enough on my laptop screen that I could actually talk through some of the titles, but it's not very large as I'm working through Movie Maker here as I'm making it. But hopefully if you're interested in purchasing one of these, you can kind of watch as I page through the different pages here. There's 202 pages of games, and it looks like there's 12 to a page or something like that. So probably 10 to a page actually, since it's 2020 games supposedly. That makes sense. The math checks out on that. So anyway, here we go. We're on about page 27. This ended up splitting this into about three roughly 5-minute clips. The entire video will be I think about 13 minutes or so, but just showing every page of games. Every once in a while I realize that I click through a page really quickly, so sometimes I'll go back. But for the most part, if you want to actually see the name of every single game that's on here, you probably would need to pause it every few seconds, because I kind of went through it relatively quickly. Like I said, to get through all 202 pages still took me about 12 or 13 minutes to do that. So a lot of the games on here are repeats, you'll notice. Different versions of the same game and that sort of thing, and every once in a while I move the joystick up just to show a little bit of gameplay footage from a specific title, just kind of so it's not just text you have to look at if you're interested in seeing what else is on there. So a lot of games. Most of the ones that I've played, to be quite honest, on this are games that I grew up with playing at the arcade. So I played, The Simpsons, played the Ninja Turtles ones, and obviously several others. Alien versus Predator is a fun one that I can think of off the top of my head. But just kind of looking through here. So I'm not sure exactly what the library of titles, how they came up with the convention of why they're in a particular order. The alphabet starts and stops, starts over a few different times as you page through here. Some of the games are really cool quality-wise, look really good graphics, I guess you would say, and then some are, like the one that's on there right now, looks like a much older game, so they're not necessarily classed by year, and I haven't done enough research into it to see if it's by game designer or what the case may be as to how they did it. But you'll see, like I say, that the alphabet starts over every so often, and we're about 70 pages in now, so roughly 700 of the games that are available have been shown here, at least the titles of them, and like I say, a few seconds of gameplay footage. And we're most of the way through this video. It's about a 5-minute video. There was no sound from the machine during this, so any part that's not narrated by me is just going to be essentially silent. But I'll page through the rest of it here to be the 5 minutes of this clip, and then go through and narrate the clip 2 of 3. Like I said, for the purposes of uploads and moving it to my phone for editing and things like that, I kept these clips at about 5 minutes each, and the last one wasn't nearly quite as long as I ran out of pages of games. Alright, so we're into the second clip on page like 91, page 90 of the different games that are on here. So I realize this video is not going to be super exciting really at all, but it does give you insight into each one of the games that is available on this. So I'm amazed at the amount of production time that goes into even making a video as simplistic as this one, and obviously maybe I'm going about it the wrong way, but I'm also very frugal. You can interpret that as cheap as well, but a lot of the equipment that I use, and most of the equipment is bought relatively inexpensively. So I'm working on a really old laptop that I bought a couple of years ago. It was old at that time, and I got it for a pretty good deal. I'm sure it was under $200. That's about that amount of money would be one that I would have to really strongly justify any more than that. So I'm sure it was in the $100 to $200 range. So it takes a little while to get it uploaded into Movie Maker. I have to do I capture the footage with my little HDMI capture device that I've done a video on. That was about $20 or so, less than $20 I would say for sure. The arcade stick itself I paid $120 for. It was back in the springtime, like I said, back in April, and I just happened to actually have quite a bit of eBay bucks. If you use eBay and you know what those are, it really just means that I had spent a lot of money in the months leading up to it, but I always take advantage when they do the higher amounts, 10% bucks and things like that. So I put stuff on my watch list and then buy it when they run those kind of deals where you get more bucks. But anyway, this was a purchase, 120 bucks in that neighborhood for the arcade stick. It was in a month where I had a lot of eBay bucks, and so it wasn't a lot of out of pocket, but something I felt like I would get my money's worth out of, because I like a lot of these games. So again, here I am. This is just the second clip, and I'm kind of cruising through. It's very, tedious, kind of mind-numbing activity of just clicking the stick over. And then, like I said, I do kind of page up and look at, clips from the different games. There's Ninja Turtles, one that I played a lot as a kid. And so I did that just to show some footage from some of the different games that are on here. But for the most part, the idea, again, just to sort of show what is available on this particular version of the Pandora's box. Pandora 6S is this particular one. Maybe add some pictures or some overlays of the device. Again, I just, while I was waiting for this last clip to finish uploading or saving itself anyway after the narration, I shot a clip that'll be or you will have, if you've watched this far, already watched it, that actually talks about the device, so, and everything like that. But all in all, and then of course what'll be more fun, I think, more fun for me to make anyway, is actually playing some of these games, probably playing some like X-Men that you see there, Ninja Turtles, The Simpsons, all those that I used to play. Those couple of three really jumped into the front of my mind because I grew up with an older brother and a younger brother, so the games that had 4 players were the ones that of course we were drawn to, as all 3 of us could play on the 4-player cabinet. And so those, I'm sure there obviously were others, but those 4 really jump out in my memory as far as games that we play together at the arcade or at the movie theater, where they used to always have big arcade machines and things. So anyway, here's just we're back to the MNOPQR part of the alphabet, and it's obviously restarted a few times. A bunch of different versions of Tetris, a lot of repeats, like say different versions of the same game, some games that I can't even see a difference between. But now we're starting the alphabet over. This clip's about to end, and then the last clip's only a couple minutes long, but of course it'll just be one big video of probably 15 minutes in length, with the other part that I just recorded that actually introduces the device itself. So a little bit of silence here as I go through a couple of more pages, and then I'll narrate that very last clip. Alright, third and final clip. This one's about 3 minutes long, starting on page 166 out of 202, so just paging through the last few games here that are on the stick, and then I'll probably shoot a video with some actual gameplay footage, what I was doing while this video loaded, or the last one saved, or whatever. I was trying to get my other computer, my desktop, up and going, but it was acting weird. Looks like maybe it's coming online now, so it'll give me an opportunity to kind of like multitask, but sounds like from the children in my house that we are having Wi-Fi issues anyway, so this may be something that'll be delayed in being uploaded. Probably see what's going on with that next, but because there is no other sound in this video, I'll just keep kind of talking through it until we get to the last little bit. These types of games, like that one that was just on there, Bust a Move, I think is the bubble popper type game. My wife's a big fan of those. There's a bunch of those on here. I've never been very good at any of them, but that's one that my wife will definitely sit down and play. Looks like there's some sports ones, and again, I still never really quite figured out what the idea behind how they class the different games on this one, but obviously a lot to play, a lot of games. 2020 is probably true. I mean, obviously, like say, if there's 10 to a page, 202 pages, the math works on it. So, but a lot of repeats, various, small changes in the version between one and the next. So, how many actual different games are there? Obviously, a ton. I just don't know that exact number. But anyway, so that's about another minute or so till the timer runs out on this video. I'll stop the narration there, and then we'll work on making something else.